Welcome back to the channel, guys. So today we're going to dive into the complexities of the disqualification case against Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis, which has sent shockwaves through the American people. Now, as many of you guys know, Fani Willis is the main prosecutor in the election interference allegations against former President Donald J. Trump and 14 associates in Georgia. But now, Fani Willis's involvement has been questioned due to her romantic relationship with Nathan Wade, a lawyer which she hired for the case, someone who many are saying doesn't have the exact qualifications to handle such a high-profile case, and yet has already been paid more than $650,000 for his work on this case. House Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan has the latest development on this case, with him saying that he just found a new whistleblower within Willis's office. Now, according to the whistleblower, Willis may have mishandled federal funds, leading to the whistleblower's dismissal when these concerns were raised. A private investigator hired to look into Willis also uncovered 2,000 phone calls, 12,000 texts between Willis and Wade, further casting doubt on their earlier statement saying that she had nothing to do with Wade before she hired him. It's got a lot of people scratching their heads, so stay tuned as we get to the truth of the matter and we unravel just how Fani Willis' ethics case may reverberate long after the judge makes their decision. Now, let's get into this. So here's the clip where they talked about the 2,000 phone calls and 12,000 texts between DA Fani Willis and investigator Nathan Wade, all before the time Willis said that they were in a relationship. Check it out.
A private investigator hired to look into Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis and Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade says he found evidence contradicting their testimony in court. DA Willis told the court last week that she and Wade were not dating until April of 2022, after he was hired. But the private investigator says phone records show more than 2,000 calls and 12,000 texts between the two, and cell phone data shows his phone near Willis's house several times in 2021. We asked a legal expert why this could be important.
If they lied to the court, this can be referred to the Georgia State Bar for disciplinary action. Theoretically, the judge could hold them in contempt of court and also submit to another prosecutorial office for perjury charges. That seems unlikely, but the discipline by the bar seems quite likely should this be proven as a lie.
Yeah, it's definitely news like this that's making people say that the privileged people who are officers of the court should be disbarred and prosecuted if they lied, misled, or withheld information from the court. Some even question why taxpayers are funding Fani Willis's office when they're making hiring decisions like this. Maybe Fani and Nathan should be required to reimburse the taxpayers for every penny. What do you guys think? Now, just for context, guys, Fani Willis is the main prosecutor in the election interference case against former President Donald J. Trump and 14 of his allies in Georgia. But things have certainly taken a turn, as Trump's legal team, they're calling for the disqualification of Willis because she's engaged in a romantic relationship with a lawyer she hired to help with the case. So Mr. Trump and a number of his co-defendants had hoped to convince a judge that the relationship has created a conflict of interest that should be grounds for disqualifying Miss Willis, the Fulton County District Attorney, the hired lawyer, Nathan J. Wade, and Miss Willis's entire office. A key question is whether Miss Willis reaped any financial benefit from hiring Mr. Wade, who has been paid more than $650,000 for his work on the case. If successful, the effort would very likely sow chaos in one of the most ambitious of the criminal cases against President Trump. So what's next for Fani Willis and for Nathan Wade? Well, it looks like they're in for a bumpy ride with a slew of investigations headed their way. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, a staunch ally of Trump from Georgia, has already lodged a complaint with the State Ethics Commission. Plus, it's very likely that the State Bar of Georgia has received very similar complaints, although we can't check those out just yet as they're not public record until they're filed. Now, another body in the mix is the Prosecuting Attorneys Qualifications Commission, set up last year by the state government. Although it's currently stuck in a little bit of a legal and operational limbo, it could be gearing up to take action in the coming weeks or months. The commission, run by Republicans, will most likely have the power to punish and or remove Georgia prosecutors like Wade and Willis. And if that's not enough, the Republican-controlled Georgia Senate has formed its own special panel specifically to look into Willis. And while the group doesn't necessarily have the power to boot her from her position, it does have the ability to issue subpoenas, which could mean embarrassing and politically harming hearings for DA Willis. I really just want to get to the truth of the matter so that any lying and corrupt government official gets what's coming to them. You know what I mean? If you're finding this investigation into the disqualification case against DA Fani Willis as intriguing as we are, make sure to hit the like button and show your support for the channel. I want to thank you guys so much for always sharing these videos. We totally appreciate it. Perhaps the latest development in this disqualification case against Fulton County DA Fani Willis is House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan revealing that a new whistleblower from Willis's office has allegedly come forward. This after Jordan saying that Willis has yet to comply with the committee's subpoena early February over documents related to the investigation into the claims that she misused federal funds. Now, according to Jordan, the whistleblower is 4'1", not a very tall person, but yet Fani Willis had 7 police officers escort her out when she fired this lady because this lady raised the concern that Miss Willis was not spending federal funds, not following the rules of the grant dollars in the appropriate manner. So she raised this concern and Fani Willis fired her for that. She's now talking with Jordan's office and we'll just see where this goes. And that's why Jordan subpoenaed for records and documents related to this. Now, before this, there was also talk about a private conversation with a judge who donated to the DA's campaign fund. Some are concerned that the private conversation might include some additional corrupt bribery for which the Fulton County government and their entire DOJ is so richly famous for, at least according to some people there that I've heard. So yeah, here's the scoop, guys. So the whole drama kicked off when Michael Roman, a former Donald Trump campaign official, filed a court motion on January 8th, leveling some serious accusations against Fani Willis and Nathan Wade. But the two kept pretty quiet and tight-lipped about the whole thing for weeks. It wasn't until February 2nd in a court filing that they finally admitted to having a personal relationship had developed between them, but only after she hired him. In the court filing seeking to throw her off the case, DA Willis is accused of having hired Wade, who has never before led a high-profile criminal prosecution because she was in a romantic relationship with him. She's also accused of profiting from Wade's earnings from her office, taxpayer funds, by joining him on multiple vacations that he sometimes paid for. Now, according to the motion filed by Roman, Wade has been paid more than $650,000 since starting his job with the district attorney's office back in November 2021. The filings claim that he subsequently paid for some of the cost of the vacations that he and Fani Willis took together to Napa Valley, California, Miami, and the Caribbean. All of this, Mr. Roman says in the filing, amounts to Willis awarding lucrative contracts to her boyfriend and then benefiting from them. A separate filing from Trump on January 25th argued that Willis violated Georgia bar rules for prosecutors when she claimed during a recent speech at an Atlanta church that racism was one of the reasons why she was under scrutiny. Fast forward to February 15th and 16th, they held an evidentiary hearing. Willis, Wade, and other key witnesses, they took to the stand to talk about the relationship and the real timeline of when it all started. The first day of the hearing focused on the prosecutors' personal lives and how they went about paying for expensive vacations together. Definitely a lot of sharp exchanges between defense lawyers and DA Willis on the stand. Now, on the second day, lawyers argued over what questions could be asked of key witnesses. Mr. Wade's divorce attorney, who often asserted attorney-client privilege, did not provide the damaging testimony that the defense lawyers were hoping to get. Now, whether these prosecutors should be disqualified if the accusations stick is a hot topic among legal experts. Some are saying that they should step down from the case to avoid any trial delays. But even though some experts weren't convinced that there was a clear financial conflict of interest for Willis and for Wade, they still said that the proceedings nonetheless did not appear to help the prosecutors. Bottom line, no matter how the judge rules, the whole saga has been nothing short of a headache for Willis, a Democrat and seasoned prosecutor who's got her re-election bid coming up this year. Legal experts are saying that the extra court drama will reverberate long in the court of public opinion after the judge makes his decision and will impact how the prosecution and the defense present their cases. They say that there isn't probably any scenario where this isn't a bad situation for the prosecutor. At the minimum, it will distract from the core information of the case and delay the trial. The biggest problem with the ethics violations allegations is that it's adding another distraction to the high-profile case. Even if the judge does dismiss Trump co-defendant Michael Roman's motion to remove Willis from the case, experts predict the former president and co-defendant's attorneys will consistently bring up her relationship with Wade to sow distrust. So basically, in the short run of things, when it comes to optics and public perception, it does unfortunately interfere with the perception of integrity. Other experts comment how motions of attorney conflict of interest are common in criminal cases, but Willis's situation is one of the rare times when an accusation has been made against two prosecutors. Now, that's probably why Willis's team didn't really see it coming. If the judge does remove Fani Willis from the case, it would lead to a legal procedure to determine which which Georgia prosecutorial office would take over the case, which of course would cause a lengthy delay. Some say it could even possibly end the case unofficially. If the judge dismisses the motion, there is a case that the issue over Willis and Wade's relationship could blow over because of the ever-exchanging media cycle, but like I said earlier, this is probably going to come up again in news conferences, interviews, and other media appearances. The ethics violation allegation and the court hearing surrounding it will also probably come into play during jury selection for the Trump trial. You're gonna have to screen people over and over for new issues. You'll need to screen people over whether or not they think less of the prosecution because of the allegations, but then also have to screen people over whether or not they think less of the defense because of the way that they question Willis. Anyway, moving on. Willis's ethics case will probably prompt the Fulton County DA's office and other prosecuting offices to expand their scope of potential conflicts of interest. So, as we wrap up this deep dive into the disqualification case against DA Fani Willis, it's clear that this legal saga is far from over. With allegations swirling, investigations underway, and the future of key players hanging in the balance, there is no telling what twists and turns lie ahead. So be sure to stay tuned to our channel for all the latest updates on this gripping story and more legal developments. Drop your thoughts in the comment section down below. Appreciate you guys liking the video and sharing it. I'll see you on the next one.